Welcome back to the Forensics Detailing channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to take a standard snow foam and turbocharge it into a strip wash. Welcome back to the channel, guys. So turbocharging your pre-wash snow foam. Why the hell would you want to do that, and how do you do it? So pre-wash snow foams that you spray over your car, you allow the kind of product mixed with water. They run at very low dilution ratios when you put them through snow foam lances. So primarily you're soaking your car typically with 99% water and a small amount of these products, which is something we'll talk a little bit more about on the channel. And it generally softens the dirt, and then you kind of rinse it off with a pressure washer or whatever and get as much dirt off as you can before you go in and make contact with the dirt to remove it. Now, one of the big challenges in detailing is a lot of times when you're washing a car or detailing a car, if you want to use that word, you are looking to do kind of a full prep, the full Monty if you like, where you wash, you decontaminate, you polish, and then you put protective products down. So generally it's desirable to have products there that can help you remove whatever products are on there when you're prepping a car for that sort of work. So one particular type of solvent that we've talked about very many times on this channel is isopropanol alcohol, which is a polar water soluble or water miscible solvent that is used in a hell of a lot of detailing products. Gets a bad rap for being dangerous because you can get it, maybe it's got something to do with the fact that you can get your hands on it very cheap, and it's a very useful product to have. If you're into detailing, you should have probably 5 litres at least of isopropanol kicking around because it is so useful. Now, for those that are hearing the words isopropanol and panicking, don't panic. Obviously, this commonly gets used at around 20 to 30% ratio as it hits the panel, to degrease polishing oils. That's the kind of most common use about it, and there's all sorts of dramas about how effective it is. So the next thing I want to cover, guys, is how much isopropanol alcohol you put in your snow foam lance to add an extra kind of, I didn't want to use all these cliche words, to add an extra kind of kick or kind of boost, a stronger degreasing effect that will also help to break down the sealants and waxes that are on there. Now, typically if we take the litre snow foam bottle, for example, because it's easier for you to work out percentages and stuff like that, you follow the manufacturer's instructions typically, you deviate if you want, but typically follow the manufacturer's instructions on how much product to use versus water. Now with built Hamber auto foam, you can use it up to 4% PIR. You have to go and calculate your PIR, and if you Google that, you can find lots of good posts on Detailing Worlds about how to calculate your PIR for built Hamber. Now they say you should use it around about 4%. I use it a little bit less than that. I use it at around 250 to 300 millilitres of product per litre, so roughly 1 to 3 that is, which is probably closer to 2% or something like that, I don't use it at 4% typically, unless I really want to, up the potency if it's covered in road film, or I want it to really kind of, really hit it harder, I guess. So however much product you mix out to water, you've got a litre of your product there. What I would say is measure out per litre around 50 millilitres of isopropanol, and that gives you a 5% mix ratio in the lance. So 50 millilitres roughly if you're using a litre of water. I know it's not exactly 5 because you're adding 50 to 1,000. I know that. Just it's close enough, guys. If you're using 500 millilitres, a smaller amount, which is typically how much you use, add 25 millilitres of isopropanol into that mix. Now, like I've said before, the amount of isopropanol you're actually putting on your car when you use it at that sort of concentration as a percentage is tiny. You'll be down in the 0.1%. So for anyone panicking about IPA, Don't panic, guys. We use it at 30% or 20 to 30% or whatever. That'll be a drama as well. On the panel, you know, we sit it there and we kind of buff it in. This is just going to be using it at very, very low percentages, but that will have an effect. You can actually go higher than that, but I'm not going to suggest you do that in this video, because some people will go in, you know, from normal panic into blind panic mode. When I say you could use it up to 10% if you really wanted to. As with any pre-wash, you don't want it to dry on the panel. This is a completely safe method, guys, and if you're not comfortable with it, you know, don't do it, is the advice. And this video is not intended to give you guidelines. There may also be compatibility issues with mixing isopropyl alcohol in with certain other chemicals. I can say I've mixed it in with probably over 20 or 30 snow foams over the years, and I've never seen any problem. And isopropyl, by the way, is an ingredient that is used in a lot of commercial snow foams. Not all of them, some may choose not to, but there are some out there with it in. It's also in all your screen washes in a much higher concentration that you're going to be using in this video, and that screen wash flies out and sits all over your roof and stuff. So the underlying message, don't panic if you hear the word IPA and you start kind of panicking. You don't need to. So basically, guys, that is it. Mix down the product as I've advised, around 5% ratio in the bottle, and that will give you a very low PIR that will help to break down any products. The sensible advice, guys, you're not going to strip anything that's been kind of freshly laid out. You can just see it for yourself. You can't break down these. You can affect them, but you can't remove detailing products, sealants, even waxes, especially ceramic coating, with any sort of strip product. It just won't do it. But what you can do is help to break them down as part of your preparation process. And if the product's closer to dead, you know, and there's not as much on there, it's eroded away, then this will, you know, probably get rid of most of the remnants of it. And then when you're going to be kind of claying and decontaminating as well, and of course polishing the car, the rest of it will come off. So this is a cheap, effective way of turbocharging your snow foam into more of a product which will have more of a detrimental effect and help to remove or break down waxes and sealants that are on your car. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I'll see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?